desde el proceso de la entrevista hasta cuando entras en el primer día, sí vas a usar mucho los 16 principios de liderazgo. Entonces, te recomiendo que todos lo tengas en la mano. En este video vamos a hablar de los restantes 8 principios de liderazgo y vamos a ver el ejemplo de cada uno de los principios de liderazgo con la metodología STAR. Bias for Action o sesgo por la acción. Los líderes actúan rápido. Esperar demasiado puede ser peor que equivocarse. Prefieren avanzar que quedar paralizados. La pregunta: Tell me about a time when you were able to remove a serious roadblock barrier preventing your team from making progress. During the development of a new platform called ThinLeasy, the customer had already been promised a 32-week launch timeline based on previous platform. While reviewing the business case, I noticed the new design had curved corners, which made the tooling much more complex than initially assumed. Estoy explicando la situación, que hay una plataforma nueva que va a entrar. Están cotizando en 32 semanas. Yo vi que las fotos de las piezas en el ángulo no eran rectangular, eran redondos. Y el equipo del desarrollo pensaba de hacer unas herramientas sencillas que no requieren una inversión grande. Por eso ellos habían tomado poco tiempo para el desarrollo total. Todo eso es la explicación de la situación. I needed to prevent a major launch delay and find a realistic manufacturing solution after identifying that the proposed modular tooling approach would not work. Yo avisé de la gravedad de situación, no vamos a llegar con el cliente, estoy despierto que la afectación al cliente puede ser un problema grande. Aquí estoy diciendo cómo no afectamos al cliente con mis acciones. I reviewed the concept with my engineering team and confirmed the modular tooling would create excessive setup time and was not operationally viable. I escalated the risk to the GM and worked on alternatives. When supplier quoted 28 weeks just for tooling development, I proposed a two-phase approach. Launch initially using manual bending machines with flexible tooling while continuing development of the fully industrialized stamping solution in parallel. Las acciones que estoy diciendo es, puse un modelo híbrido donde pongo que las herramientas definitivas, redondas, sí o sí tienen que llegar en 42 semanas, pero mientras, para no afectar al cliente, desarrollamos un proceso manual también. This reduced the launch time from 42 weeks to 26 weeks for the initial production launch, avoided a major customer delay, and kept the project on track until the final industrialized solution was completed. Te estoy explicando que con el cliente llegamos, pero al principio teníamos un costo más elevado, pero no afectamos al cliente. Todo eso habla de que me gusta tomar acciones. Frugalidad o Frugality. Los líderes hacen más con menos. Entienden los desperdicios y usan los recursos con inteligencia. Tell me about a time when you saved money on a project you were working on. Alika decided to expand the factory to increase production capacity, anticipating higher demand in the coming years. Due to the size and complexity of the project, the initial plan was to hire external consultants. Estoy diciendo, Alika quiere aumentar su capacidad productiva y por esto estaban pensando de contratar consultores externos, como era un proyecto grande. When I learned about the project, I asked my manager to assign it to me instead. My objective was to lead the factory expansion internally,
avoid consultant costs, and deliver the project without delaying customer orders.
Aquí estoy diciendo lo quiero hacer más barato, porque si contrato consultores externos, seguramente nos van a cobrar más. Yo quiero ser frugal por la compañía.
After receiving ownership of the project, I formed a cross-functional team of 16 members from controlling, planning, HSE, quality, production, process engineers, and maintenance. The goal was to expand the factory from 20,000 meter squares to 30,000 square meters and redesign the layout using lean flows within 9 months while maintaining normal production. The planning phase took 3 months. Knowing execution would be intense, I took full ownership by working on-site every weekend and clearly communicating progress and next steps to the team every Monday. This built trust and motivation.
En las acciones estoy hablando de los retos, de que el tiempo era 9 meses, los clientes no tenían que perder órdenes, y esos son los retos, ¿no?
Without stopping a single customer order. Total project cost was $6 million versus a budget of $6.8 million, saving $800K. The new layout became a benchmark within the group, and the project was recognized as model for the cross-functional collaboration.
Los ejemplos que estoy dando hay que maquillar, pulir el ejemplo bien. Toda esa plática tiene que durar de 3 a 5 minutos máximo. 5 minutos son muchísimos. Lo importante es que la respuesta esté dentro de los principios de liderazgo con tus ejemplos. Hasta aquí hablamos de frugalidad. Earn trust o ganarse la confianza. Los líderes generan confianza con sus acciones. Son honestos, escuchan, cumplen lo que prometen y reconocen sus propios errores. La confianza se construye de acciones chiquitas y todos los días.
How do you communicate change when you know it will be a tough sell? Historically, Alica provided annual salary increases equal to or above inflation. In 2022, due to the company's financial situation, leadership decided salary increases would need to be significantly reduced. 1 month before union negotiations, our COO informed me that the originally approved 8% increase was no longer possible and asked me to negotiate the lowest increase achievable.
Cada año damos 8% de aumento salarial a los sindicatos, a todos los sindicalizados. Y este año era un año difícil donde la empresa no llegaba al resultado. Entonces me piden de reducir al máximo o no otorgar el incremento. Todo eso es la situación de qué es lo que está pasando.
My responsibility was to communicate this difficult situation to the labor union, protect the relationship with employees, and avoid operational disruption. Together with HR and finance, I prepared a simple presentation explaining the company's financial situation and key P&L impacts. I met with the labor union representatives and openly explained the challenges the company was facing. The discussion was difficult and emotions were high, but instead of creating confrontation, we focused on solutions together, including efficiency improvements, scrap reduction, and cost-saving ideas. After extensive discussions, we negotiated 4% salary increase tied to the attendance and disciplinary criteria.
Para mí fue muy difícil negociar el porcentaje del salario, el incremento del salario. Les explicamos detalladamente cómo fueron los números y llegamos a un acuerdo de un 4% por lo debajo de la inflación, aunque no era cero.
We completed the negotiation without protests or operational impact. The company achieved a sustainable agreement, and we maintained a positive relationship with the labor union despite the difficult circumstances.
Todo eso hizo posible que la negociación se cierra porque ahí la gente a mí me seguía. Dive deep. Profundizar. Los líderes conocen detalles. No se quedan solo con los reportes altos, pero conocen detalles, investigan, entienden datos profundos. Esto es dive deep.
Tell me about an interesting metric you designed to identify and eventually improve something. We had frequent assembly line stoppages because materials were not delivered from warehouse in the correct quantity or location. Even though the internal service level was 96%, production was still being affected.
Esta es la situación, mi tarea.
My goal was to eliminate these stoppages by identifying what the existing warehouse metrics were not showing.
Mi objetivo era mejorarlo al 50%.
I analyzed our cycle counting process and realized we were only measuring quantity accuracy, not location accuracy. We were following SAP's standard counting method, which hid the real problem. I designed a new cyclic counting metric based on risk. Materials were classified into AA, B, and C according to cost, lead time, and size, with different counting frequencies for each group. I also worked with IT to add bin accuracy to the metric. If a part was not in the correct location, accuracy was counted as 0, even if the quantity was correct. We trained the warehouse team and strictly followed the new method.
Este es el ejemplo de un nivel de detalle, un problema. Hice un nuevo método, me fui a un nivel de detalle más, no solo contar cantidades, pero también contar las ubicaciones, y creamos un nuevo indicador que se llama Warehouse Accuracy, que en mi empresa antes no estaba.
Initially, accuracy dropped to 78%, revealing the true issue. Within 4 months, warehouse accuracy improved to 96%, and the internal service level increased to 99.5%, eliminating material-related stoppages.
Esto es el ejemplo de Deep Dive. Vamos al siguiente. Have backbone, disagree, and commit. Tener convicción, discrepar y comprometerse. Los líderes expresan sus desacuerdos con respeto, definen su punto de vista aún en un ambiente complejo, pero una vez que comprometen o toman decisión, se comprometen al 100%.
Give me an example when you submitted a great idea to your manager and they did not support it. At Alica, we traditionally spent around 600,000 pesos annually on a year-end party with gifts for employees. While it was appreciated, I observed that employee engagement remained a challenge, particularly for working parents struggling with childcare.
Hablando de la fiesta del fin de año, normalmente se gastaba alrededor de 600,000 pesos, y yo me hacía preguntas de por qué era para motivarlos, y yo pensaba cómo podemos motivarlo, el objetivo mismo, motivarlo, pero en la mejor forma, en la forma diferente. Eso es la situación.
My objective was to propose a more impactful use of the same budget, one that could improve long-term employee satisfaction and retention. I developed a detailed proposal to reallocate the 600,000 pesos towards establishing a childcare support service for employees. I prepared a cost analysis and presented projected benefits including higher engagement, stronger loyalty, and improved employer branding. I presented the idea to my manager and strongly advocated for it, explaining why I believed this investment would create deeper impact than a one-day event. However, my manager disagreed. His concern was that removing a long-standing tradition could negatively affect the morale in the short term. Although I still believe in the idea, I respected the final decision.
Hice un análisis más profundo, cuánto costaría, todo, dónde lo haríamos, cómo lo haríamos. Y esa propuesta le pasó a mi gerente y mi gerente dice que no.
The proposal was not approved, but I gained valuable experience in presenting data-backed ideas and respectfully challenging the status quo. More importantly, I demonstrated that I could disagree constructively, and once a decision was made, commit fully to it.
No pasó nada, yo aprendí la lección de hacer mejor propuestas, hacer más propuestas. Y esto es el ejemplo. Deliver results o entregar resultados. Los líderes cumplen, saben cuáles son las prioridades, superan obstáculos y entregan resultados. Las acciones valen más que excusas.
Sometimes it's tricky to set goals that are challenging, yet achievable. Tell me about a time when you hit the right balance. I identified inefficiencies and potential security risks in our scrap disposal process. Scrap was collected in red containers across the production areas, reviewed by quality, and then removed outside for disposal. However, there was no clear correlation between the scrap generated on the shop floor and the scrap sold, which created accountability gaps.
Esa es la situación. Observo que hay un potencial riesgo de robo y algunas ineficiencias conectadas.
My task was to make a scrap process more robust and transparent, ensuring full traceability between scrap generation and disposal, while keeping the solution practical and achievable.
Mi tarea era hacer el match con el scrap que producimos y el scrap que vendemos. Aquí estoy diciendo que antes esa relación no existía, entonces esa era mi tarea de crearlo.
I reviewed the entire process and identified that the main gap was the lack of accurate weight tracking. To address this, I redesigned the process around a simple but strong metric, scrap weight. I led the integration of component weights into SAP by ensuring weights were recorded in the bill of material during new product launches. For existing products, I assigned 2 employees to weigh all components and build a complete weight database. I then trained the team responsible for scrap reporting in SAP, following on accuracy and consistency to reduce manual errors.
Mi propuesta fue como, vamos a pesar el scrap antes de tirarlo. Y luego agregué la parte de cuando hacemos el desarrollo del producto, cada componente que vamos a dar de alta va a tener su propio peso en el SAP, en nuestro sistema, el ERP. Entonces ya teníamos el estándar de cuánto pesa cada componente. Lo que estaban naciendo, cambiamos procedimientos. Lo que teníamos ya en producción, pusimos su peso, ¿no?
The new process created a clear correlation between scrap generated and scrap sold. We improved transparency, reduced risk of material loss, and increased confidence in scrap reporting. As a result, scrap was reduced by 4% and the process became a reliable tool for the operational and financial decision making.
Ese es el ejemplo del Deliver Results. Normalmente este principio también hacen varias preguntas negativas. A mí me recuerdo durante mi entrevista sí me habían hecho una pregunta negativa. La pregunta es, tell me about a time when you did not deliver on something significant. Una vez que no entregaste algo importante, ¿no? Esos ejemplos de negativos son importantes preparar. Los últimos 2 principios de liderazgo probablemente no tienen preguntas o es muy rara a la vez que puedan hacer alguna pregunta. Bueno, eso es todo. Cualquier duda, pregunta, comentario, por favor, escriben abajo. Yo les voy a estar respondiendo. Adiós.